Hello, Owl families. It's Mr. Hutchinson here doing a solo weekly video update. Unfortunately, we're kind of being pulled in lots of directions. Mr. O is in a meeting right now. I have a meeting that starts in just about 10 minutes. So I wanted to jump off and fast and do a quick, abbreviated weekly video update. We're not going to talk too much about what's happening in the future, but we will go over the homework for this weekend and talk a little bit about a couple of other things that are happening just so you are still in the connections with our classrooms. If you have any individualized questions, please send a talking points or an email to that teacher and they can get back to you. But if you look at the screen that's currently here, this is our Friday homework slide. You'll notice that in math, Mr. Hagedorn has just checking PowerSchool to make sure you're not missing anything. So don't forget to do that. Remember, if you don't have parent access, if you just have the kid open up their Chromebook and go to PowerSchool and then click on the number of in the quarter one, it will bring you to an itemized list of all the assignments. And if you see something that's a zero there, have your student work on that this weekend. In language arts, we've been working on a mini analytical essay. It's 2 paragraphs with an introduction and a conclusion, kind of sandwiching them in. They did a graphic organizer in class earlier in this week. They've had time to draft this week, and most students, I wouldn't say every single student, but most students should have had enough time to finish that in class this week. They worked on it even a little bit today in class. There might be some students that don't have that mini analytical essay finished. Again, have your student open up Chromebook, show them Canvas, and if you open up the mini analytical essay in their language arts Canvas site, they should have these boxes filled in. And if they don't, would you have them work on that this weekend a little bit? That would be awesome. They also need to read chapter 19 in The Lightning Thief. Some of the students managed to do that in class today after they were done with their reading check. But again, reading it one time isn't always the best. Reading it a couple times always is helpful, especially as we do reading checks in the next couple of weeks. Science, once again, making sure you're just checking PowerSchool and making sure everything is turned in language, or excuse me, in social studies. We've been talking a little bit about geographic modifications, that idea of how did humans change the environment to make life easier. And we talked about Chinapas today, which the Aztec were using to kind of build these islands out in the Lake Texcoco. So they had more land to grow food on. So that's what we're doing. In next week, when we come into school early in the week, probably Monday even, in social studies, we're going to do a little survival game outside as the weather is getting nice. And we're going to see if the kids can find food, water, and shelter and survive as a society, which will be kind of a fun adventure. 2 other things to bring to your attention fast before I get out of here. One is the school pictures came out. Mine is mine right there. School pictures came out yesterday. So your kids should have a packet like this in their backpack if they were here yesterday to get it. And it has instructions on if you want to order pictures. And if not, you might have already ordered them and they would have pictures in there. But take a look in the backpack for that. It's probably getting crunched up, if not already out. We also gave out on Wednesday the Scholastic book order, which came through me. And this is the little flyer that they might have in their backpack. It has a new way of doing things, even from last year when we did book orders. There's a QR code here that is supposed to get you into the system, and you should be able to find Pine Hollow. I was having trouble kind of using this to get there as I was trying to do it, because this is a new system even from last year. But I do have a page that has my name on it. So I'm going to link this into our talking points that comes through in our email. So you'll have an access to this page and Scholastic, and it will have all kinds of opportunities for you to look at all kinds of books, more than just what's in here. Lots and lots of things available to you. And sometimes Scholastic does a pretty good job of finding some books that are at a reasonable price. You don't oftentimes have to pay for shipping because they put it together in these book boxes. So something to think about, not a requirement by any stretch of the imagination. The order date is October 11th while we're in track out, but they set that for us. I wasn't able to change that. And I think that's because they're trying to make sure that they have the books in the warehouse before big chunks of people start ordering them. So that order date's going to be a little bit later, but when we track back in, books will be here. It'll be kind of fun for students possibly. All right. And then the last thing I want to talk a little bit about is this idea that on our Pine Hollow site, remember, there is a calendar of upcoming events and some cool upcoming events happening in the next couple of weeks. Next week on Wednesday is the first Battle of the Books meeting, which I'm in charge of, and that's an after-school activity. If you're interested in competitive competitive reading. I know Sycamore Creek had a battle team. This one is the Battle of the Books team is a competition where we will compete against other middle schools in February. So that's kind of a fun, adventurous thing. If you are into reading and competitive reading, that might be an activity for you to think about. We also have some soccer games and volleyball games happening. Football games are coming. So something to kind of think about as we go into next week. Now, the weather is looking nice. Have a wonderful weekend. If you have any questions, please let us know. If not, have a lovely weekend, and I'll talk to you next week.